Hello everyone. Yesterday, Infosys and Wipro released their quarterly results. As a consequence, both the ADRs were down 3 and 2% respectively. Why? What happened last night in US market and what we need to expect from Reliance Industries today's quarterly results. All this we are going to discuss in our regular pre-market report for today, 17th October 2025 for the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. First, let's discuss about Infosys. If required, please pause and have a look. This is the top line financials compared to a quarter ago. However, for better understanding, I like to discuss with a preview what we used in the last pre-market report. Market was expecting the revenue to increase 4%, but the actual revenue increased 5.2%. Similarly, profit to increase only 4%, but the actual profit increased 6%. In case of EBIT and EBIT margin, it came in line with the analyst estimation. So overall, the top line financial of Infosys, it's very good, all positive. Then they also raised FY 2026 revenue guidance from 0 to 3% to 1 to 3%. So the lower end improved by 100 basis points, which is again positive. However, the problem is large deal total contract value. It came as 3.1 billion US dollars, down from 3.8 billion US dollars in the previous quarter. This is a sharp decline of 18%. And more importantly, constant currency growth reduced to 2.2% in Q2 versus 2.6% in Q1, meaning the revenue increase was due to the rupee depreciation. And one more thing, Infosys declared an interim dividend of 23 rupees per equity share. So despite beating estimates and raising guidance, the large deal decline and slower constant currency growth disappointed the market. Hence the reason Infosys ADR fell 3%. Then second, about Wipro results. Here market was expecting the revenue to increase around 2.4% and the actual revenue came slightly above 2.5%. So revenue beats the estimation and was okay. However, on the negative side, profit was expecting to fall only 1.5%, but the actual profit fell 3%. In addition, in EBIT margin case, market was expecting 19.65%, but the actual margin came at only 16.2%. So it's a massive miss by 350 basis points. And hence the actual EBIT increased only 4% against the market expectation around 25%. So in short, profit mild miss and EBIT margin case, it was a massive miss. Hence Wipro's top line financial itself a problem. However, on the positive side, unlike Infosys, Wipro's total order book came 4.7 billion US dollars, up 6.1% quarter on quarter and up 30.9% year on year, which is very strong. In that, large deal increased 6.7% to 2.9 billion US dollars, up 90.5% year on year. Order book is excellent, very much better than Infosys. Hence, for most part of the time in the US market, Wipro ADR traded positive, but in the end, it also fell 2%. So in short, Wipro missed the profit and margin estimates significantly, but having very good order book, whereas Infosys case, their top line financials are good, but bad order book. Hence, despite beating estimates, ADR market reacted negatively, and today we could expect all IT stocks to be on focus. Now moving to US market, last night was very negative. Multiple issues came together. First, the Senate vote to extend government funding and end the shutdown again failed. So the US government shutdown is continuing. Then the Morgan Stanley issued the warning that the possibility of permanent layoffs among federal workers as well as delays in the economic releases could make this shutdown more consequential than the previous instances kind of. Second, we discussed this in the last video itself. US Treasury Secretary Bessent said that the Trump administration isn't going to back down from its tough negotiating stance with China even if market reacts negatively. So we know US-China trade tensions are escalating. Hence, overall US market closed negative. Dow Jones fell 0.7%, S&P 500 fell 0.6% and Nasdaq fell 0.5%, whereas VIX increased 22.5% to about 25 mark. This is a very big jump from the normal quit day like last night. So it seems US market is getting really nervous about government shutdown and US China trade tensions. And again, this made the gold to breach 4,300 US dollar per ounce for the first time. And at the time of this video making, it is trading at 4,308 US dollar per ounce. There is one important positive side on the global momentum. Trump said that he and Russian President Putin held a good and productive phone call to resume the talks on ending the Ukraine war. And he also said he and Putin agreed to meet in Hungary soon. This is a positive news. If Ukraine war ends, it will be good for global economy and markets. However, this phone call creates an uncertainty over global oil supplies, which in turn reduced the oil prices by more than 1%. At the time of this video, WTI crude trading at 57.5 US dollar per barrel and Brent crude trading closer to 61 US dollars per barrel. Now, regarding Indian ADR's reaction, as we discussed, Infosys ADR fell 3% and Wipro ADR fell 2%. So both the stocks arbitrage also showing negative 3% difference. On the other hand, HDFC Bank ADR fell above 1% but arbitrage showing flat. Then ICICI Bank ADR was up marginally, hence it's showing the arbitrage positive 0.5% difference. Reliance GDR up 1.6% and arbitrage showing positive 1%. So IT stocks massive negative, banks mixed, Reliance positive. And in terms of GIFT Nifty, early morning today it traded at 25,601, equating that with the spot market. For now it's indicating 60 points gap down opening. As a summary from the market perspective, yesterday's IT results were mixed. Infosys and Wipro beat the revenue but disappointed on margins and large deals. In addition, US market closed negative due to government shutdown failure and US-China trade tensions, so global momentum is not good. Then on the positive side, Trump-Putin phone call, both FI and DI were net buyers yesterday and PCI ratio improved to 1.35, showing bullish sentiment in options market, which we will discuss in a moment. But still, today GIFT Nifty indicating 60 points gap down opening, but price action really depend on how market reacts to IT results and US developments. Moving on about institutions, in the cash market, both FII and DII were net buyers for second day in a row. FII net bought for 1000 crore rupees and DII net bought for massive 4100 crore rupees. Then coming to derivative market participant wise open interest, in the index options 5.4% new call option open interest added and 19.3% new put option open interest were added. Hence PCI ratio improved to 1.35 from 1.19. Stance wise, clients having net 4.8% open interest favoring bullish stance, FII having net negative 6.6% open interest in bearish stance and proprietary traders having net 2.4% open interest on bullish stance. So retail and proprietary traders slightly bullish. FII still bearish but reduced their bearish stance from 7.9% to 6.6%. And in the index futures, FII added 68% new long positions. So from 93% short position on Wednesday end, they reduced their holding to 86% on short side. Others client holding 70% on long side and proprietary traders holding 55% on long side. Then as per stock open interest, Cholamandalam Financial Services, IREDA, Suzlon, HDFC Life, IRFC, IEX and Polycab are some of the 49 stocks that got an increase in open interest along with a negative close, indicating the short build-up. On the other hand, RBL Bank, Power Grid, Amber Industries, Tata Motors, Nykaa, Ashok Leyland and Oracle Finserv are some of the 68 stocks that got an increase in open interest with a positive price close, which means these stocks got the long build-up. About the things to look out, earnings wise, Reliance Industries, JSW Steel, JSW Energy, 361, Atul Auto, AU Small Finance Bank, Bajaj Healthcare and Bank of India are some of the 79 Indian companies' earnings results are still released today. Here, regarding Reliance Industries results preview, quarter over quarter, market expecting the revenue to increase 1.7% and EBIT to 5.2%. However, they are expecting the net profit to fall 26%, which is not good. Other than that, market expecting Reliance Jio's ARPU to increase to 11.7 rupees per subscriber. So today will be a major day. Reliance Industries could have either short covering or profit booking. Then macro wise, Europe's consumer inflation is due, and in the night for US, their industrial production growth rate for September month are the important things we need to keep an eye out today. Coming to technical, Nifty opened 70 points gap up and increased to around 25,620. However, it closed below 25,600 mark. Thus, on the daily chart, Nifty formed a long bullish candle with minor upper and lower shadow, and Nifty moved straight above the downward sloping resistance trend line, which could now act as a support trend line. In addition, key moving averages continued to trend upward with RSI climbing to 66.82 and MACD also maintaining its bullish crossover, all indicating continued positive momentum. Hence, 26,000 is the crucial hurdle to watch, which could open the door for a record high at 26,670. However, 25,400 to 25,300 range could act as the support zone. In case of Bank Nifty, it opened more than 300 points gap up and was positive throughout the session, then closed above 57,400. Thus, on the daily chart, Bank Nifty also formed a bullish candle with minor upper and lower shadow, indicating a positive bias. In addition, the key moving averages remained upward sloping and continued its higher high higher low formation with RSI and MACD both bullish. Hence, Bank Nifty is likely to maintain its upward bias and test the level of 58,000 in the short term. On the downside, 57,100 to 57,000 zone will act as the crucial support zone. Regarding the options front, the maximum call option openers was at 26,000 strike, followed by 25,800 and 25,700, with the maximum new call option writing at 25,800, 25,850 and 26,000 strike. On the other hand, the maximum put option openers was at 25,300 strike, followed by 25,500 and 25,400, with the maximum new put option writing at 25,500, 25,400 and 25,600 strike. Thus, from options data, it indicates that Nifty's resistance is at 25,700 to 25,800 with support in 25,500 to 25,300 zone. So that's all in this video. Hope you got some information. Please consider subscribing the channel and liking the video so that it will help me beat the YouTube algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investment based on this, as I'm not a SEBI rich advisor. I'm doing this for me and viewers educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.